Hello and welcome, this is Mark from IndexJet. In this video, we're going to be talking about the IndexJet main dashboard and what you can do here. So let's dive right in. You can see that we've broken up the pages on your website by categories as they would appear in your WordPress database. That means you've got pages, posts, attachment URLs, categories, tags, authors, and then any other kind of library URLs that your theme might be creating. Keep in mind, inside of Yoast and SEO Press and these other plugins, it will ask you if you want to index your theme URLs. So what we allow you to do in IndexJet is to double check that these are actually disallowed. So you can see here that I think it's the robots.txt that allowed us here to disallow our Elementor URLs, because obviously if you have a template for Elementor, you don't want that template to be indexed in Google search results. So what it means if a page is red is that those are set to no index, so Google cannot index those pages. This can happen through one of two ways: that you have a no index tag on the actual page itself, so you can come to the source code, search for no index, and here it is. So we're telling Google in the meta robots tag that it's no index, and that's what you can see here in the main dashboard. So the reason why we've allowed you to check it so easily is that in my SEO experience that many website designers do this wrong. They index the wrong pages. Sometimes they set the whole website to no index by accident. Sometimes key pages may be no index because somebody clicked the wrong button. Or there are a lot of pages indexed that should have never been indexed. So, for example, if you see attachment URLs, you usually want those to be redirected or no index because you don't want Google displaying those attachment URLs inside of your search. We can look, check out what they look like. Or actually right now the redirect is on, so we can't see what they look like, but it's basically just an image without text. And you don't need that URL that the image lives on to be indexed in Google search results 99.9% of the time. So you definitely want those to be redirected. If it was green here and they can be indexed, then you've got a problem and you need to enable a redirect for those pages. This is usually a setting that you would go into for your SEO plugin, whether it's Yoast, Rank Math, or SEO Press. You can usually set that inside of your SEO plugin. And so yeah, we've talked about the hierarchy here of different pages and posts. The indexable column means that anything that's do index will show in search results, anything that's no index won't. HTTP status shows you the status that the page has, being from 500 server errors, 400 errors being page level errors, and then 301s or 300 level errors being redirects. You can see those very quickly here. 200 status means that the page is working okay as expected. You can also see when the page was last modified. So we're showing you here when you've last modified a page, and this is important so that you get a good idea of when the page was last worked on. And then if Googlebot has visited after the page has been modified, that's when we show you Googlebot here in green. So this website hasn't had many changes because it's just my testing website. That's why it shows Googlebot in green here, because Googlebot visited after the page has been modified, meaning that Google has found the most recent changes, and you can expect those changes to show in search results. We're also looking at the crawl frequency here. In this case, the crawl frequency for the Contact Us page is 0 because this is set to no index. And we can also change the time frame that we're looking at. So right now we've got a time frame of all. So we're looking at all tracked entries. We can look at the last 30 days or last 7 days here. In the last 7 days, only 4 URLs on our pages have been crawled by Googlebot, essentially. And if we show all again, we can see that all of our 12 pages are showing here. We can increase how many pages we're going to look at. And we can also check if the pages are still not showing in search results. So if we click is the URL in Google, and our plugin then goes out and checks for you if the page is indexed in search results. What we're essentially doing with that is that we're doing a site colon check. So we're asking Google with this, do you know any page indexed in your search results that is exactly that? So but in this case, this page is not indexed, which makes sense because it has a 410 status. 410 means that the page has been removed or permanently deleted. So of course, those won't show in Google search results. Right here, so this is the main dashboard. You can also, if you have a problem where, let's say all of these URLs were accidentally indexed, you want to first set them to either 301 or 410 those pages. Ideally, probably setting them to 410 would be better. So you could select all of those, select them to 410. Remember, these are attachment URLs which we should not show in Google search results. Now, in our case, it's already a 302, so these are already being redirected. So I believe you can't override a redirect with a 410. But if they had a 200 status, then yes, you could override that with the 410, and you would then request indexing. This is the important part because Google still needs to discover that you have removed all of these URLs from your website now. So you then need to request indexing. Let's go with Omega Indexer for now. You select your campaign name here and drip feed. So for campaign name, I just say remove. Drip feed is 1 day, which just means that we will take 1 day to send all of these out. And this has now created a campaign on Omega Indexer, which will send Googlebot to all of these URLs to make sure that Googlebot discovers this changed page status that you've created. That's the overview of the main dashboard. Of course, you've got an export function. We're also giving you a couple of recommendations here as to what you can do with your robots.txt. You can also filter by certain page types. Let's say you're not interested in attachments, authors, or those libraries. You only want to look at categories. You can filter for that as well. Let's select posts here, for example, and only look at those. And then you've also got the Excel export, which will give you a list of all of these URLs in Excel format. So yeah, that's the main dashboard of IndexJet. I wanted to keep it short in this video just to give you an overview of what IndexJet can do. Thank you for watching.